Welcome to the Roosevelt House. Jennifer Rabb sends her greetings, the president of Hunter, who owns this house at this time, but she's rushing off to another, not a CSW event, another event for Capital Campaign for Hunter. I'm joined here tonight, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Liz Abzug, yes, one of Bella's daughters, and my sister Eve Abzug, where are you? Right here in the front is also here. Eve Abzug, right here. I am the founder and CEO of the Bella Abzug Leadership Institute, and I am joined with the illustrious Marilyn Fowler, who's the head of I promise you, we move this program along. Several of you are going to get a chance to say a few things, but I just want to, by way of introduction, say that Marilyn, who founded and the president of Women's Intercultural Network, was a very key player. I was very fortunate to be in Beijing, China at the UN Fourth World Women's Conference on Women in 1995 with Erica Foreman, who's the chair of the board, along with my mother of Bali, along with my mother, for the whole time of the conference. Several of you in the audience were there as well. I realize that. I was a younger woman, so I didn't know too much about it. I was a child, but I was pushing my mother in a wheelchair all through the mud of Harwu, which is where the NGO organizations met, as we will recall. She was at that time, had a very significant role, but also was having challenges. So she was the one who also took Hillary Clinton, First Lady, as you was just beginning at that time, and human rights, women's rights, and human rights, that's the famous what she coined. And Bella was wonderful and took Hillary around to meet a lot of the NGO leaders from around the world, which she's very, very thankful for. I'm talking about Hillary, the Secretary of State. But Marilyn, who is our co-chair of this evening, she ran, and I saw this with my own very eyes and was very impressed, got all these Apple computers, now mind you, it's 1995, to donate it to the conference, and a press room, which is what I call press communications room, was being run and supervised by Marilyn and her crew, because we had to bridge the gap between our meetings in Harwu, which were an hour away where the NGOs met, from the official conference, the secretary who met in Beijing. So the communication, we didn't have smartphones, we barely had the internet, there were daily newspapers that were released every day, and then the international press and the communication to those who could not be at either the unofficial or the official conference was really pumped out of the office, the war room, the MAC room, which Marilyn was responsible for. So let's give her a hand for that. One more thing, she's been a joy to work with. She lives in San Francisco, the WIN crew that is all here with her. From all over the country and from the West Coast, because everybody's in for the Commission on the Status of Women that is held right now at the UN, where all of you, if you follow the press, Hillary spoke yesterday. So there are meetings for the next many, many days. And I've been pleasured to be a delegate along with this crew from the West Coast to be able to go and speak at some of the meetings there. So without further ado, let me introduce the great Marilyn Fowler.
Thank you, Liz. That was a little bit revision. And the thing is that I'm trying to get some of this up. I want to thank Liz and Bali, and you all know what that is now, and I'm just learning a lot more about the amazing things that Bali is doing with young women. I want to thank them for this opportunity to honor Bella, which I thought we needed to be done 20 years after, because it wouldn't have been the same without her. In fact, she was in Mexico City. How many of you went to the Mexico City conference? Anybody? Oh, okay. I was there. I was a child. So I was in Mexico City, and Bella led us into that, of course. She led us to all the U.S. conferences, and she also led us at Beijing. And so this is we're kind of honoring her tonight, and we all have Bella stories that we're going to tell. And We have the movers and shakers here with us, also who have put together this extraordinary celebration and review of the Beijing Plus 20, and we're going to share some of them with you. Anyway, because this is the time is now, as Hillary told us, we're not there yet. And we have the tools, we have built the networks, we have learned our lessons, and tell me, please, that we are now going to implement the Beijing platform. So, in fact, not only was I at that first Beijing conference, but I had to share this story. I went from Planned Parenthood Federation of America. I was on the national board in 1975, and yeah, they had children on the board. And Willie Brown, you all know Willie Brown, of course, and I were on the national board. We were the radical board members on the national board. And we were radical because I was the only woman. I think there were a couple elderly women from Junior League. He was the only person of color. So, but the interesting thing is that there are still organizations in this country that would find that radical. So, we haven't gotten there yet. And Lynn was right, Liz was right somewhat, that what we were actually doing with Apple, and they had worked a whole year ahead with the UN to plan for they had this huge warehouse, and they did ship over 100 Macs and 80 volunteers, and they had set up the first cyber center. And I have some photos of that, and it was exciting, and you could go in there, and it was the first time a lot of women anywhere in the world had seen a computer. And of course, Macs were user-friendly then. And women would sit at those Macs. They're not now, because I can't even work this iPhone. But, I have like Lincoln stand-up. I want you to know that I could not do anything without Lincoln. And she's very modest. So anyway, Sue Hay, what would happen is that Apple asked us when would we set up interviews with them so that they could call in Beijing every morning at 7 Beijing time, 5 o'clock Cupertino time, and a young woman named Sue Hay would be sitting at her office with her headphones, and she would dial. The first person that went on, of course, was Bella. And she called Bella at 8 in the morning, and then we had a whole group of other women for 2 weeks. We would put different leader women on, and she would call and talk to them and then type what they said, and it went out over what they called Apple, I think it was, iWorld, maybe. And it went out around the world, and then they launched the global women's cyber movement. So Bella was the first person. She was the first at everything. Was she always like that, Liz?
Yeah, I thought she'd kill me if I said otherwise.
So my Bella story, and we know you all have your Bella stories, was that at the end, Apple said, well, can we want to close this out. Can you get Bella Abzug to come on after we were home? Will you get her on so that we can kind of do a closure, And I said, okay. And I would get kind of nervous calling her because she would always yell at me. And so I got a hold of her. She would answer her phone. She would talk to you. So she liked hearing from you. But she was busy, and so I got a hold of her and I said, Bella, can you go on one more time? Just one more time. And she did yell at me, and she said, Marilyn, why are you always after me? What is it you want? What do you want now? And I said, Bella, you're the only one that can tell us what to do next.
That's right.
And that's true, And she said, all right. And so, of course, she went on, and that's what she did. And I can hear her words. She said, get this implemented, get this platform, get this declaration on the ground and implement it. And we've done our best, and many of you have worked on this for the past 20 years. So, I just lost my rest of my stuff. I don't know, but these are not user-friendly. Anyway, I'm just so excited to be here and see some of you I haven't seen for a year. Claire Greensfelder, anyway, some of you will be speaking. And we are now I'm going to turn this back to Liz. And we have some people that we've already pointed out to speak who were principal in the work that Bella was doing. And we're going to hear from you. And then some of you may have a Bella story. We love Bella stories. And I went through this and took some notes, and I really kind of almost started weeping just thinking back about those days and missing Bella, because we don't have anybody like her, and wish that she were here, except we've got,
All right. Give Bella a hand. Before we start with a few comments from wonderful statements from all of you, I just would want to share something with you guys for a minute that we thought would, those of you who haven't seen this before.